Hello. So today being Valentine's Day, I'm actually excited because I get to cover a topic that I've been trying to cover for a while and I didn't know where to place it. So today's topic is about treating the other person with respect. To start, we're going to talk about a story. This story, basically, there's a young woman. Her husband was the main income for the family. She really didn't have a lot of skills. And all of a sudden, her husband passed away. Now, this young woman, she basically was very close to her mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law also was a widow. Her husband passed away many years ago, and she did not have a lot of strength. She basically, in fact, mother-in-law was living with her at the time, and so basically, because of mother-in-law's condition, she wasn't really able to bring money in. But the mother-in-law knew of a farm, huge farm near where she grew up. And so basically, this young woman took her mother-in-law and they moved back to where her mother-in-law is from. And she got a job, work or basically cleaning up. It was like the bottom job you can get at this farm, basically cleaning up. And they paid back then, they paid with whatever you could pick up off the ground that was still good. So after doing this for a couple of days, the owner of this farm, he comes back from a major city. And basically, he's going with his foreman, going over the land, going over the peoples, finding out who's still there, who he hired. And he comes across this woman, and he's smitten with her. Um, Asks the foreman all about her, and the foreman says, "Well, you remember so and so? Well, this is her daughter-in-law. Basically, so and so's not doing good. Daughter-in-law's, really doesn't have much skills. So she got hired on to, clean up the field after everyone's got done, and so she's trying to pay, feed just not herself, but her mother-in-law. So this guy is taken by that. He is, the spirit overcomes him. This woman's taking care of her mother-in-law. So he says, I'll tell you what, don't we have a spot over here with this one group of women that basically they're picking the fruit? From the trees and stuff. It's like, yeah, we do. So he goes, I'll tell you what, I'm going to move her over there. Let me be the one because she's never met me. Introduce myself and I'll move her over there. So this guy does that. He goes over there, talks to her, says, hey, you know what? I can move you over here. It's a little more easier. I'm sure you're going to be able to catch on real quick. The pay is a little bit better. And basically, if you get once you get the boxes filled up, whatever's left, you can take with you because I know you're also taking care of your mother-in-law. This woman is just amazed by this. She was quite content what she was doing because she really didn't have much for job experience. Goes home, tells mother-in-law. Mother-in-law's like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's nice and everything." And like a typical mother, you're single, you're still young, you can get out there, you have my blessing, all this stuff, and works her magic in convincing the daughter-in-law that she should show kindness to this man, that he's a good guy. Later on, the owner is helping them with their crop, and it turns out very late. They're out in the middle of a field. It's far away from everything. So they decide to camp. And as they're camping, harvesting the fruit and stuff like that, this young woman notices that this guy's cold. And so she basically in the middle of the night makes sure that his feet's not cold. And she does it in a very kind and gentle way. If this story sounds very familiar, it is basically Ruth, the book of Ruth, that I'm talking about, and I'm talking about Ruth and Boaz. What this story demonstrates is the fact that these two people were from completely different, opposite ends of the spectrum. He's rich, she's not. It's kind of like the fairy tale, but he serves her, and she treats her with kindness, and she treats him with kindness, and she serves him without even being asked. They do things for each other without being asked to. And that formed the strong basis for their relationship. Now, what can the story of Ruth and Boaz teach us today? Simple. If you're in a relationship, treat the other person like they're your equal. There's going to be times where you're the master and they're the worker. Treat them with respect. There's times where you're the worker and they're the master. Treat them with respect. Treat them like you would treat others. That sounds very familiar, right? Jesus said that. That even goes to relationships that's not romantic, your friendships, your partnerships at work, your relationships at work. Treat the other person with kindness. There's going to be times where you're not asked to, but you can do something to serve them and show them respect and kindness. Do it, right? Just those little acts of kindness can do a lot. They can open up doors, just like it did with Ruth and Boaz. So, before the kitten who's off the camera is making more noise, I want to thank you guys so much for paying attention. And I do have a question for you guys. Uh, I'm curious on who is your inspiration for relationships? Who do you look at as an example of the type of relationship God wants you to have with people? Leave the comments down below. I'm very curious to hear what your examples are. And again, happy Valentine's Day to all the Valentines out there. Thank you so much. May God bless you. Goodbye.